All right, let's welcome to the both first edition and a special edition of the Marketing Mechanics ad review. Originally, I was going to do an ad review for this channel to help educate you on how to better create ads for your business. But with the 2022 midterm elections, I've got so many political ads stuffing in my mailbox. I thought, hey, why not use this as a learning opportunity, how to make better ads for yourself. And here's a bonus. There's not a lot of good information out floating on the webs about doing good mailers, right? Depending on your business, mailers might be an excellent way to grow your business. So let's look at these political mailers, learn what's good, what's not, and how you can apply it to your business. Now, if you've not seen my video on the Get method, I'll have a link somewhere around here. But a quick recap. When you're doing any sort of advertisement, I don't care what the platform, whether it's a mailer like this or if it's online or on a billboard, you have three things you need to do. It's get, grab their attention, entertain or educate, and then transition them to some sort of action. Every ad needs those 3 points. Let's see if these political ads do that well and what you can learn about doing good mailers in the process. First thing, we're looking at this mailer by Urge, a group I've never heard of until now, so I guess they did a good job. Now we know about them. One key thing you need to realize, though, when you're dealing with mailers, okay, these are being stuffed into people's mailboxes, and here is the fatal flaw with mailers. You don't know which side someone's going to see first. So you have to make sure that both sides meet that get formula. Now, I'll do one slight caveat. What you may do is you make one side your primary side and the other side is engaging enough to get people to flip it over. I'm not going to belabor that point, but let's see if this does it. Get, grabs attention, yes. This side of this mailer does a good job grabbing attention. Human faces almost inevitably grab our attention. Whoever did the design on this did a pretty good job. They framed it well. This is a larger mailer. I know it's kind of hard to tell on this. But they did a decent job framing it. I'm not, quite frankly, the demographic for this. I think they're really going after women with this ad, but that's cool. Let's flip it, though, and see the fatal mistake that they made. All right, let's do it. All right, this is the other side of the ad. Now, you may not be an expert in advertising, but I think you and I can both tell each other what's wrong with this. And it's quite simple. It's too many words. They grabbed our attention on the other side. That's cool. But if this was the first side we saw, we may toss it because TLDR, no one wants to read it. It's too many words. Not going to go into it, but a better way to have done this was to shrink the words significantly. First of all, side note, they're trying to educate us. Now, that's great, but you should really educate on 1 or 2 points, not the entire political process. That's not what I mean when I say educate. What they could have done was had 1 or 2 key points. Then they do drive us. If you see at the bottom of this, they do have a website that they drive people to. It would have been a far more effective use of their mailer to have something really catchy, drive us to the website if we want to learn more. So overall, this is sadly a kind of a fail on this ad. I'm going to go back. I think the visual design of this was pretty solid. Lots of engaging photos. Good use of color. And hierarchy of the fonts, but overall the other side, I feel like someone, to be honest, straight up with you, I feel like a good graphic designer designed this side of the mailer and then someone else did this. This looks like they pulled it straight from, like, they designed it in Word or like an Excel spreadsheet. This is horrific. I'm almost embarrassed for them, but again, I should have stated this at the beginning. This review of the ads I'm not either endorsing or condoning any of these candidates or any of these political views. That's not what this is about. This is about educating you on marketing and what works. Let's move on to the next mailer. All right, this is a local school board. Overall, it's okay. Remember what we talked about. You don't know which side someone's going to look at. So overall, I'm afraid that this candidate, let me show you the backside. You'll see what's going on here. This candidate suffered, and context, this mailer was less than half the size of the other mailer. Okay, visualize that. I think this is about maybe 10 inches by 5 inches. So really small mailer. This is way too many words. All right, I'm sure this man was a good educator. He's claiming, yeah, that he was an educator, 25 years. Wonderful. Unfortunately, he didn't learn how to communicate on this, or whoever he hired to do it did not do a good job for him, because this is way too many words. These small mailers that you send out, I highly recommend, let's go all the way back, visual on one side. Just keep it super simple on one side, so if someone sees that, they flip it over. I think that's the best approach to mailers. I've done that for customers. You would behoove yourself to do that. All right, mailers are, it can be a phenomenal investment, but you cannot make them. This is the guy basically, and this is a little cut off here. The guy basically put his resume on this, and it's too much. Ultimately, all of these mailers will get the T and GET for get. They're all going to transfer person, or to kind of do that call to action, and that's the vote. So my recommendation, if you're designing these for someone, if you're doing mailers, make the vote a little bit more prominent. That's one thing that kills me about, as you'll see as we go through, that the vote's kind of not the most prominent thing. Visually, this is even with this over here, where it says teacher, parent, conservative, experience that counts. It's all kind of the same size, and yeah. So the eye doesn't know where to go when there's this much going on. Again, I'm sure he was a great teacher, but not the best ad. All right, this is another ad. There's my finger. I'm holding it up, taking the picture here. Great visuals. Got some sort of uniform and a pharmacist. I think this, yeah. So he's a pharmacist. Very sparse use of words at the bottom on this side. So this is the more visual side to grab your attention. Wow. Let me take it back. I was wrong. So this is actually the information side. He's very sparse. He's got the things that he's going for. Clearly, he's a Republican. Strong call to action. Notice the size of this font compared to these other words. It's much bigger. It's heavier. And then it's got a URL for if you wanted to know more about this candidate. This was, I will tell you, I personally don't enjoy political ads because they're so predictable, and the whole let me get a picture in front of a farmer is so cliche. But again, doesn't mean that that is bad. But I will say, from a design point of view, this is on point. Again, like that first ad, good visual side, but unlike the first ad, they didn't mess it up by overloading the other side. Notice that this side is almost as visual as the other side. So this is a very good mailer. This is one of those larger mailers where it's like full page, and so good design overall. The only thing is maybe a stronger call to action to a website if people were interested in knowing more. But I think this is a late game mailer they're sending out. Again, this is political. It's a little different than you would have for a business. So if you were running a business mailer, I would recommend, if you did a larger one like this, have a more significant call to action. And then you would tell people why they need to visit your website. All right. This one right here, excellent in the sense of we have a great strong visual. We have a very upset woman. This is actually an ad against the advertisement for the previous guy. This is they're going against him. Very great use of words. The only thing is here they emphasize criminalize women's health care. They're running here in Alabama. I would recommend they actually emphasize take away our freedoms. And the use of orange is very interesting. I would have used a different color maybe. But overall, excellent design. As I said earlier, you want one side very, very image focus when you're doing mailers. So they did a good job here. They kept it just like with, ironically, with his, well designed. So they're going neck to neck when it comes to design. Here's my only catch though. This is actually a mailer telling people not to vote for this candidate. And yet let's go back to his own ad. Like, here's a nice smiling face, right? Think about that. The person designing the ad promoting him decided to choose a smiling face. So what, I'm just going to throw this for you to think about. I will answer it. Think about, if the people who like him want a smiling face, what do you normally want to do if you're going against a candidate? You want a sad face. I mean, they probably should have used that face, right? He's not smiling in this picture. If they're going to grab a picture, they're going to crop this out where he's not looking super happy. He's looking serious, but not happy. You don't use a smiling face when you're trying to advertise against someone. It makes them, wow, he looks so nice and happy. A little, why wouldn't you need to find a frowny face picture if you're going to run against someone? But again, excellent use of visual. They kept their words and spacing very well done. And that very strong call to action, the T. So grab, entertain or educate, and transition. The transition is very strong. Vote no. Which I find very, very interesting. They didn't say vote for another candidate. They said vote no on him. I found that very, very interesting from the meta perspective. All right. So here's another one. I think we may have another one after this with this guy. So strong visual with some words. That's good. This is a smaller one. You can kind of tell by the proportions if you're paying attention. My only thing is, who on this guy's team thought that this was a good picture to use? This looks like a creepy old man just like staring at me. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Because what they're trying to talk about is traffic, right? Doesn't like sitting in traffic. A better image would have been like people stuck in traffic. I know they're trying to use his face. I get that. But this is called appealing to the pain. And they didn't do a good job of appealing to the pain because they weren't showing the pain, right? They were showing his face. I get it was cute, but they could have done better. Maybe even shrink this and had a bigger image of people stuck in traffic. Because you actually don't need to show his face in this, right? You're appealing to people that the people are irritated about traffic and they want it fixed, right? Common problem in many states. Right here, they actually do have a picture of traffic. Would have made more sense on the other side. Would have made more sense if they had a longer shot of cars. So, otherwise, they didn't overload it with words like we saw those first two. But it's a bit much. They're relying on this Governor Ivy quote. That's cool, I guess. Strong call to action. They're using a QR code. That's pretty cool. But compared to this one, I think it's interesting. So that was a smaller one. This is a larger one. So obviously they have more space to work with. Big visual. I mean, whether this guy's face is going to appeal to you is almost irrelevant because it's a human face. Studies have shown human faces grab our attention. So inherently, I don't care whose face it is, the G will be fulfilled with a large enough image of a human face. So got it. Educate. Well, if he's trying to appeal to conservatives, I guess he does that. A dedicated conservative leader. Cool, I guess. And then we flip it over. Same thing. Big image. So what I liked about this was it didn't matter which side you saw first. This one clearly has more information. And notice how, unlike that guy we saw, the second one who was running for the school board, he just breaks it up in a few bullet points. He doesn't give a resume of everything he's ever done. Few bullet points. But otherwise, it's vote. So grab, face, educate, and then transition with a vote button. And I think they use the same button on both sides. Yeah, vote, Tom Butler, vote, Tom Butler. So they use the same on both sides. And the educate here is very simple, right? They're calling to their base in this ad. And that's it. So remember, grab, educate, entertain, transition. Remember when you're dealing with mailers that you're dealing with the fact that you don't know which side someone's going to see first. Actually, as from a pure design point of view, this is probably the best one because it does not matter which side you see first. They hit all three. Obviously, this side's a little bit better because it's giving you more information, but you still hit again, this is presuming because this one hit, I think I got this a day or two ago. So they're really trying to appeal to their base. Now I say that. I get mailers from both parties. I don't think I know who I am, which is kind of cool. I like to be mysterious. But, again, that's a good design. We look through. We're seeing, okay, fonts, you need to keep that in mind. Transitions, you want to call out. That's what I don't like about this. This call out is there, but it's very subdued. Same thing with his own campaign. Very subdued here. Well, let me tract it. I'm wondering if they're using the same design for him. Notice this button where it says vote. He doesn't have it on this side. He has plain text here. That button's actually pretty good. It draws your attention away from everything else. So I'm wondering if they're using the same design concept here. So those are some things to consider. I guess if you're designing a little late, I guess. Maybe for the next one. You got 2 years to get ready. But for mailers in general, I don't care what business you're running or what you're trying to sell. If you're going to do a mailer for your business, you need to keep these thoughts in mind. And if you have questions, leave it in the comments. Shoot me a DM. Be happy to help out. Or hit my website, marketingmechaniconline.com. Book you a free strategy session, and we can see what we can do to help you. In the meantime, stop wasting money on broken marketing.